how to get amazing results with these models. Hello my friends, how are you doing? Today I'm going to show you my favorite models, but more than that, how to get the most out of that. Because downloading a model, that is just the first step, but I want to show you my best tricks and how to really squeeze out the quality. Let's get started. So first, let's talk about some basics here. One of the things that is important is clip skip. Now, clip skip is often used with models that are for anime or more art style models, for example, ref animated, which is this model here. And you can see there is a certain difference between the two. Now, it might not be super obvious, but I would say if you look at the picture on the right with clip skip 2, it has a little bit more dimension, a little bit more room in it than the first one. But of course, you can like either of them. When you download the model from Civet AI, you want to read through the information below that model to see if they suggest using clip skip or not to get you better quality. Another thing that is amazingly effective and really important are negative prompts. Both of them are the exact same seed and they have the exact same positive prompt, so all of the settings are the same, and this again is the ref animated model. So you can see the prompting and especially the negative prompt has a lot to do with the quality that you can get out of such a model. But if you're not good at negative prompting and you don't want to try around for hours, there is a good alternative for that, and this is negative embeddings. In this video, I'm going to also show you my favorite negative embedding. So on the left side, we have an image that is using a very complex negative prompt. On the right side, I'm just using my 5 favorite negative embeddings, but just clicking on them, they are added to the negative prompt. And I get this beautiful result. I would say it's almost as good as the one with the complex prompt on the left side. Next, I also want to show you that, of course, these models have a lot of variety. So again, we have this really beautiful image on the left side. And then this is a picture from my video yesterday about how to create 1,000 prompt variations with just one click. Check out that video. But this is both made with the same model. Now, another thing that is really important are Loras. Now, you can understand Loras as kind of an add-on to a model because they are trained on specific things. So in this case, you can see that this is using the exact same prompt on both of these images, but the left one has the Phoenix Dress Lora. Now what this is doing is it is adding a lot of these very nice detailed ornaments and decorations to the clothing, and because of that everything looks a lot more intricate and highly detailed, while on the right side we do have a really beautiful image that is closer to what usually you would get from ref animated, but when you look at the clothing, you don't have these massive details, these intricate ornaments on the clothing. So this has a major impact on that. So let's reveal my favorite models of all time. The first one, of course, is realistic vision. This is very good for anything that is like a photo that should look realistic. It is mostly good for portraits, not so much for other things, but you can really mix that very well. You can merge that with models you have trained yourself. For example, here on the screen right now, I'm showing you a model that I have trained on something called brutalist architecture. That also works out really well. My next one, of course, is ref animated, which I use for everything that uses art style. And of course, it has this kind of specific style, but I like the expressiveness. It is easy to prompt for. This is maybe a big difference between realistic vision, which is a little bit hard to prompt for. It is a little bit fighting you in what you want to create, while ref animated makes it really easy to put stuff into the prompt to be playful. It can create a lot of variety of things. Also landscapes, also architecture, and it has this artistic style and posing in it really beautiful. As an alternative to ref animated, I also use deliberate, but I only use deliberate, to be honest, when I don't get what I want from ref animated. The deliberate used to be my favorite model for art styles, and you can see that here you have a mix between an artistic style and something that looks more realistic, so it has basically the best of both worlds. Now here we have comparisons, and it's really important to look into that. Here I have a female astronaut rendered with the same prompt in these different models. And what you can see here specifically is when you look at realistic vision, because it is trained on photos, when you look at the pose, but also when you look at the person, this has much more of a photo, because of course in a photo the posing is different than in a drawing, but of course also the person looks more realistic, looks more like a real person, while when you look at the middle with the ref animated, this is mostly trained on these kind of artistic drawings and digital illustrations, things like that. You can see that the posing is different, but also the body shapes, the face shapes are different. They are idealized and they have this more artistic background behind them. Again, as I said, deliberate is a good mix between both of them. So for example, you can see from the body pose, it is more like you would stand in a photo, and also the body here is less idealized, but at the same time it does have this kind of artistic digital drawing expression to it, so it merges both of them kind of together. Here we have another example with a male cowboy gunslinger, and again you can really see the distinct difference between these models. So again, realistic vision is most like how you would pose in a photograph. It's kind of capturing a moment in the motion, it feels more alive, maybe a little bit filmic also, while ref animated in the middle has more of this artistic pose to it, something you would put on a poster, on a cover art. Now deliberate again is a good mix between both of them. It has a realistic feel to it. It feels like it's capturing kind of a moment, at the same time it's a little bit posed, and at the same time also it has this beautiful background here, so it is making it more dramatic, more like a special moment. And here I want to show you the last example. Again, ref animated is most stylized, most idealized in here, and has this posing that is not captured in the moment. Realistic vision has that completely, and also from the body shapes, from the expression, this just feels more like an everyday scene. Deliberate here makes a really interesting choice by putting a frame inside of a frame with this kind of door arch behind her head, so that is a really cool artistic choice in here. Now that you have a better understanding on how things work, I want to show you how to download that and where to put it into Automatic 1111. So first of all, here are the negative embeddings, and most of the ones that I use come from Nolan Atama. And you see here this page, I will link it below the video. So here are my favorite ones that I suggest you download. Here we have the Bad Artist Anime, Bad Artist, Bad Hands 5. Then below that we have Bad Prompt version 2, and Easy Negative Safe Tensor. You want to download all of them into your Automatic 1111 folder, and in there into the Embeddings folder right here. So this is very easy to find. Next, let's go to the models. Now, again, as I said, on Civit AI, when you go to the model page, first of all, up here you have multiple versions. This is really important to understand. So version 2, this is the newest version, but also it's an in-paint version. So if you want to do in-painting with that a lot, you might want to download that version too. And of course, there's older versions here. It does not mean that these are worse versions. Sometimes you get better results with the older versions. So you want to experiment with that too. So when you click on that, you can see that the page is loading again, and then the download over here is now for that version. And to get the most out of these models, I would absolutely suggest that you click on these images. When they load on the right side here, you see the prompt and the negative prompt that is used, and also the settings that are used. Doesn't mean that you get the exact same image, but this is a great starting point. And for example, with realistic vision, I use this negative prompt for basically everything I do with that model. So that is a really, really good way to get started with the model. Again, when you go back to the page, absolutely scroll down, read through what is written over here. That is very important. The advice that they give you, for example, here you can see what they suggest for the positive prompt up there, the starting point. And this is also what I mainly use for all of my images here. Highly detailed skin 1.2 and all this other information here. This can really, really help you get very good results. Of course, as always, click here on that download button, and then inside of Automatic 1111, you download that into the models folder and in there into the Stable Diffusion folder where you find all of your other models in there. Now, the same is of course true for Ref Animated. Again, please go down here, read through the information, what you can find here. That is very important. You can also see here, for example, for Ref Animated, that this is suggesting negative prompt embeddings, easy negative, deep negative, bad prompt version 2, bad artist, and so on. Some of them I already suggested to you. Oh my God, there is even 2 of my videos down here. That is amazing. I did not know that. The same, of course, goes for deliberate, for downloading and reading the page. Now, next we come here to Lora. This one is called Phoenix Dress. You can see here how it is used with different models. Again, I would absolutely suggest that you look through the information. But another thing that's important here, also with the models, also with the Loras, when you look at these images, for example, this down here, you click on that, you want to pay especially attention to the negative prompt and see if you can see any negative embedding in here. So for example, here, when we scroll down, you can see here that it says NG_deep negative. This is a very good indicator that this is a negative embedding. So you can copy this into Google. You can search for that name. You can download this negative embedding, experiment with it if this is helpful for you. And this will highly improve the quality and output that you get from these Loras and also from these models. Another model that I want to suggest to you that I just found today, so it's not one of my favorites, but it's a really cool model, is called Ghost Mix. And as you can see here, you can do some really amazing, highly detailed stuff with that. I really enjoyed so far playing around with this model. Of course, when it comes to downloading the Lora, what you want to do is, of course, again here, press the download button, and then this again goes into your Automatic 1111 folder, in there into the models folder, but this time you want to go into the Lora folder where everything here is loaded for your Loras. Let me know in the comments if I should show you how to train models, Loras, and how to merge them to get even better quality. And of course, there's one more thing I want to suggest to you to get the best quality, and that is to use sometimes different VAEs. If you have the problem that your image comes out as desaturated, which for example can happen with Ref Animated. So you want to download the save tensor file, you click here on this arrow that is pointing down to start the download, and then again you're putting it into your Automatic 1111 folder in the models folder, and now down here into the VAE folder. Now let's bring all of that together in Automatic 1111 so we can figure out how and where to use that. So first of all, let's talk about VAE and clip skip. You can see up here that I have 2 of these quick setting fields. I want to show you how to do that. So you want to click here on settings. Then on the left side, you want to click on user interface. You want to scroll down, and here it says quick setting list. In here, you want to write SD_VAE, clip_stop_add_last_layers. Put that in here. Then click up here on apply settings and then click on reload UI, and you will have these 2 fields up here. Now, one thing I want to absolutely point out to you is when you change things here, when you load another model, especially when you load another model, make sure that you readjust your clip skip here. And another important thing here to understand is when you load an image from the PNG info and send this to text to image or image to image, you want to make sure that down here there is a small field sometimes that says clip skip 1, clip skip 2, that you delete that by clicking on the X, because otherwise this is using an actually different clip skip value than the one you have set up here. Now, where are these negative embeddings? Where are these Loras? In there's a pink button. Now, when you click on that, you will see here textual inversion. These are the embeddings, and also you have here your Loras. Now, to load the new ones you've downloaded, simply click here on refresh, and this will load all of them. Same goes for the Loras. Now, in the textual inversion, you can see here you have all of them. So for the textual inversion, to add them to the negative prompt, what you want to do is to click inside of the negative prompt and then make a space so it's not connected to another word, and then simply click on the ones you want to have. So you can see here now I have added bad artist. It's called by the name, so this is already active now as a negative embedding. For the Loras, it's basically the same thing. You can click up here into your positive prompt, make a space, and then you click on what you want to use. For example, here we have Phoenix Dress. This is coming here with these pointy brackets. It says Lora, and then at the end here you can see :1. Now this is the weight that is used with that Lora, and you can change that value. So if you have already read the page, you will see that down here the creator says I would recommend a weight of 0.7. That means we go back to automatic 1111. We highlight the 1 here, and instead of that we are writing 0.7. So we are lowering the weight of the Lora. The reason for that is that often Loras are overtrained. They are too strong for their own good, so they will give you a bad output at 1. So when you lower them a little bit to have more range for that Lora, they will actually look good with your images. Now I want to also give you 2 other advices here that are pretty important. One of them is the sampling method. While Euler A can be very good and give you fast results, it can have the downside that the results will be less intricate, less detailed, and also smoother. So you want to play around with that. Some models are really good with Euler A, some are not so much, and also the same goes for the prompts. So when you have something really intricate with a lot of details, you might want to switch over, for example, down here to DPM++ 2SA Keras, or for example also DPM++ SDE Keras, or DPM2 Keras. Play around with them, see what you get. That is pretty important to get better results. Another thing that is really important, of course, for quality is your CFG scale. I'm personally, especially with the models I've showed you, a fan of setting the CFG scale lower. So you can see here I've set mine to 6. That is already a rather low value. You can also play around with a value of 7 or 8. Don't get too high. If you need to go higher with the CFG scale, for example to 10 or 12, you also want to use more steps up here. So usually, because I want to save time, I want to have quick results, I have a low sampling step value here between 20 and 25, and also a low CFG scale of between 5 and 7. And with all these tricks, you should actually get really amazing results. Share them in my Discord and Facebook groups, links below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, that really helps me, and see you soon. Bye! Oh, you're still here. So this is the end screen. There's other stuff you can watch like this or that. It's really cool. And yeah, I hope I see you soon. Leave a like if you haven't yet. And well, yeah.